My beloved child, stop whatever you're doing and listen carefully. This is the moment heaven has waited for, and it cannot wait any longer. You've wondered why everything felt paused, why your prayers seemed to go unanswered, and why the silence lasted so long. But the truth is, I was not ignoring you, I was preparing you. What I have kept hidden was never withheld from you out of punishment or delay, but out of protection and divine timing. You weren't ready before, not because you were unworthy, but because the weight of what I am about to place into your hands required a level of maturity, strength, and surrender you were still growing into. Now, your spirit is aligned, your heart has been softened through the fire, and your faith, though tested, has survived. That is why today this moment is holy ground. The good news I am handing to you is not like the temporary reliefs you've known before. This is permanent, eternal, and personal. I did not assign this breakthrough to anyone else. I marked it with your name from the beginning. It carries your DNA in it. It holds the answers you've wept over, the justice you cried out for, the healing you feared would never come, and the restoration you thought was too late to receive. I am the Lord who sees the end from the beginning, and this is the hour I spoke over your life in secret. The hour you thought would never arrive. You are not reading this by accident. This message is confirmation that the divine delay is over, and the fulfillment of my promise is being released in real time. Stand still and let your soul catch this truth. What I have kept hidden is now being revealed, not to the crowd, not to your enemies, but to you, the one I love, the one I died for, the one who held on when you could have walked away. You're not dreaming this. You're not imagining this moment. This is the divine unfolding of something only I could orchestrate, and you're living in it now. Now that you understand this moment has been divinely reserved for you, I need you to grasp why everything that seemed like a delay was never a punishment. It was always a divine setup. You see, my beloved, when you cried out in frustration, asking me why nothing was moving, I was actually preparing the soil for something you could not have imagined even if I showed it to you then. The wait was never wasted. Every day you spent in silence, every hour you endured feeling overlooked, every tear that fell when no one saw, all of it was part of the sacred process. I wasn't holding back blessings to hurt you. I was stretching your capacity to handle them without breaking. I was teaching you patience that would birth endurance. I was allowing your vision to mature, your heart to deepen, and your faith to solidify like unshakable rock. You looked at time and thought it was running out, but I don't operate inside time. I operate outside it, and I use it for your good. You thought you were behind, but you are exactly on schedule. I have not forgotten you for even one moment. There were things that needed to be removed from your life so that when this blessing landed, it wouldn't have to compete for your attention. You thought I was silent, but I was orchestrating connections, opening paths, and closing doors that would have led you away from your destiny. I was rerouting situations behind the scenes, rerouting people, resources, and even emotions, so that the promise I made you wouldn't collapse under premature pressure. The wait was not to test your pain tolerance, but to prepare your promise environment. What I am giving you now is not just an answer. It is a doorway into a completely new dimension of favor, assignment, provision, and identity. What's coming isn't small. It's not just another job, another relationship, another moment of peace. What I'm releasing is legacy altering. It will affect generations after you. It's the type of breakthrough that rewrites everything that came before it. The reason you had to wait so long is because I wasn't just building a blessing. I was building you into the kind of vessel who could carry it with reverence and responsibility. And now, finally, the moment I have been waiting for, yes, I was waiting too, has arrived. The heaviness of the last season is being exchanged for an outpouring of fulfillment you've never known. I did not waste your waiting. I multiplied it into something your enemies will not be able to comprehend and your own heart will struggle to contain. This is not a repeat of the past. This is not recycled favor. This is fresh, new, and tailored. You're not walking into something random. You're stepping into something designed. And the reason I say this is good news is because what I am doing for you now does not need to be earned, chased, or feared. It simply needs to be received. So receive it boldly, because your time of preparation is complete. And now that you understand the preparation wasn't punishment, I want you to open your eyes to the hidden movements that were unfolding while you believed you were standing still. My child, everything seemed quiet on the surface, but underneath, I was laying foundations that human eyes couldn't detect. I was not ignoring your cries. I was busy crafting something delicate, something enduring, something that required time and stillness to take root. I was not rushing your answer because I was designing it with exactness, piece by piece, layer by layer, in ways that would prevent collapse when pressure comes later. Every moment that felt like stillness to you was actually strategic construction. I wasn't asking you to do nothing. I was asking you to trust me with everything. There were times when you stared at the ceiling wondering if I had changed my mind, but I hadn't. I was simply working in dimensions you couldn't reach, in realms where your voice doesn't travel but your faith does. I saw every glance you made toward what seemed like an empty sky, hoping for a sign, even a whisper. But you must know this now. My silence was not inactivity. My silence was sacred protection of what I was assembling in secret. I was protecting you from noise, distraction, and deception. I knew that if I let you see too soon, others would interfere and try to replicate or ruin what was meant only for you. That's why I allowed the hiddenness. That's why I cloaked your future in mystery, to keep it from being tampered with before it was ready. What you couldn't see was that I was rerouting spiritual attacks, dismantling barriers you didn't know existed, and softening the hearts of those I would soon position to bless you. The favor was forming in shadows because light wasn't yet safe. And now that the foundation has been secured, I'm pulling back the curtain and letting you witness what I've been laboring over in love. What's about to appear in your life may look sudden, but it's been long in the making. Don't be surprised when opportunities seem to come out of nowhere. Don't question it when strangers offer help, when closed places suddenly open, when people you haven't met yet are drawn to you with divine urgency. These are not coincidences. They are coordinated alignments that I have been preparing in silence. I've been speaking to hearts, arranging encounters, creating vacancies, and even changing laws to accommodate what belongs to you. You didn't miss it. You didn't fail. You weren't forgotten. You were hidden while your answer was handcrafted by my own spirit. And now I am calling it forth. What once lived only in prayer is about to stand before you in physical reality. Get ready to be surprised by how complete it feels, because while you were growing through silence, I was shaping something that would leave you in awe. The doors will open not just because you're ready, but because the blessing is too. It had to grow strong enough to survive in the environment I'm sending it into. That's why I took my time. That's why you couldn't see progress. Because progress was happening where it mattered most, in the invisible realm. And now, as I begin to manifest what I've constructed in the quiet, you'll understand that my methods were never neglectful. They were perfect. You'll look back and thank me for every silent day, because now you will see it wasn't stillness. It was sacred movement, divine rhythm, and eternal design. Now lean in, because what I am about to reveal will shift how you see your entire journey. The moments you questioned, the seasons that tested your spirit, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers. What you labeled as delay, I intentionally designed as a shield. You were never being held back out of cruelty. I was guarding you from collisions you didn't even know were ahead. You prayed for breakthrough, but you didn't realize there were traps set along the path. So I rerouted you, not to confuse you, but to secure you. I allowed certain things to fall apart because they were not built on what I approve. There were connections that glittered with promise, but behind the scenes, they carried intentions that would have poisoned your purpose. You thought I was stalling, but I was intervening. My strategy was not reactive. It was prepared long before the battle even formed. You saw loss, I saw preservation. You felt locked out. I was securing the door until you had the strength and wisdom to walk through it without compromise. If I had given you what you asked for when you demanded it, it would have crushed what I was trying to awaken inside you. So I placed you in a cocoon of my will, a space that felt tight, lonely, and confusing, but it was where transformation took place. I didn't isolate you to hurt you. I pulled you aside to protect the destiny I placed within you. You weren't delayed. You were delivered. Delivered from counterfeit success, from deceptive alliances, from short-lived victories that would have stolen eternal impact. I rerouted your ambition so your anointing could catch up. I let the world overlook you so that my voice would become the loudest one in your soul. This wasn't random. It was surgical. Everything you thought you missed out on was, in fact, something I never planned to give you. And now, because you trusted me even when the way made no sense, I'm unlocking what was saved for this exact hour. The enemy tried to convince you that too much time had passed, that you missed your chance. But what he didn't know was that I was concealing you from his sight while I recalibrated everything around you. I was aligning situations that would collapse at the right moment, opening doors you didn't even know to knock on, and whispering your name into rooms where your feet hadn't stepped yet. What appeared as heaven's silence was me executing a perfect plan that would reverse what the enemy initiated. This is why I tell you, rejoice in what didn't happen. Rejoice in what was delayed. Rejoice in what was taken, because in losing it, you gained me. You gained perspective, you gained strength, and most importantly, you gained alignment with a future that is untouched by the hands of the world. You're not late. You're not behind. You're exactly where my strategy designed you to be. And the moment you thought I left you was actually the moment I came closer than ever, shielding you from premature exposure, preserving you from voices that only wanted access, and ensuring that when your good news arrives, it arrives without condition, without compromise, and without contamination. This isn't leftover blessing. This is a first portion promise reserved for the one I trust, you. What I want you to know next is urgent. The enemy underestimated the depth of my investment in you. While he was busy sowing confusion and trying to convince you that the doors had closed for good, I was working behind the veil to overturn every plot he arranged in secret. He planted doubt, but I sowed resilience. He tried to poison your path with fear, but I poured strength into your bones while you slept. My child, he whispered lies in moments of your weakness, telling you that too much damage had been done, that the missed moments, the fractured relationships, the mistakes of your past were beyond recovery. But I say to you now, I have stepped in. What was intended to destroy your confidence has become the very proof of my hand turning pain into purpose. I have not only blocked the enemy's advances, I have turned them into stepping stones for your next level. The very ground where he attempted to bury your destiny is now becoming the platform for your elevation. I saw the ambush before it was planned. I stood at the crossroads where you almost turned back. I was there when you questioned if any of this was real, and I marked that moment with my promise, not your failure. He targeted your mind, hoping to sabotage your faith before you reached the finish line. But I strengthened your discernment, increased your capacity to endure, and activated your spiritual sight. Now you can see what's real and what's counterfeit. That was not weakness, that was war. You were not losing, you were learning. The very things the enemy used to humiliate you, I am now using to highlight you. He tried to delay the people I had sent to support you, but I have now redirected them with new instructions. He attempted to lock doors you were meant to enter, but I have handed you a key that fits no other lock. What he thought he took was only temporarily hidden, and now I am restoring it with multiplication attached. Not just restoration, but increase. Not just return, but refinement. You're not getting back what was lost. You're receiving what was promised with interest. And this is where the tables turn. The season of his access is ending, and the season of your authority is beginning. You don't need to fight for what's yours. I've already issued the reversal. The chains he used to bind your potential are being shattered. The strongholds he erected around your purpose are collapsing under the weight of my justice. I've overruled his claims and reinstated your name in the halls of divine destiny. There are people who turned from you because of rumors he spread, but I will vindicate you without your defense. There are opportunities you were denied because of his interference, but I will now open what no man can shut. I am not asking permission to bless you. I am executing my will with power that hell cannot resist. This is more than a comeback. This is a kingdom announcement. I am silencing every lie that said you were too broken to continue. I am removing every residue of shame he tried to drape over your identity. And I am declaring to heaven and earth, you are moving forward, untouched by the damage, elevated by the battle, crowned with my glory. You are not a victim of sabotage. You are a vessel of redemption. This reversal wasn't delayed. It was timed. And the moment has arrived. And now, hear me with urgency, because what I have aligned for this specific moment is not general, vague, or uncertain. It is precise, personal, and irreversible. Your name has not been floating aimlessly through time. It has been etched into the blueprint of a divine miracle that has waited until this very hour to be released. What I have spoken over your life was not an echo of wishful thinking. It was a declaration that pierced through eternity, sealed with my authority, and timed for manifestation when nothing around you made sense. In the heavenly realm, there are appointments that cannot be missed, moments that carry weight beyond human comprehension, and this is one of them. The angels assigned to your life have stood in waiting, positioned at the borders of breakthrough, anticipating my command to deliver what has long been promised. That command has now been forth. The atmosphere around you is shifting, not because you see it, but because the unseen realm is responding to my word. You may not have received an invitation, but you are already on the guest list of grace. You may not feel qualified, but you are already pre-approved by favor that was purchased through my sacrifice. I didn't schedule your miracle based on your perfection, but on my covenant. Your failures didn't disqualify you. They refined your readiness. Every time you felt forgotten, I was engraving your name deeper into the story of restoration. What is about to unfold will not be delayed another second, because the clock in heaven just aligned with the cry of your heart. I saw how long you held on without applause. I counted every time you gave when you had little. I witnessed how you prayed with trembling hands, not knowing how things would turn out, but believing that somehow I would step in. That kind of faith moved mountains, and now it moves miracles. The release has been authorized, not because you pushed your way in, but because you stayed when you had every reason to walk away. I don't forget that kind of loyalty. The seeds you thought disappeared into barren ground have been growing roots all along, and now they are pushing upward through the soil of your obedience. My child, I am not improvising your story. I am fulfilling it. This very moment was written long before the foundation of the world, and no force on earth can cancel what I've sealed. Not the opinions of man, not the threats of darkness, not the ticking of time. You're not late. You're not overlooked. You're right on time for the miracle your spirit has been groaning for. The whisper in your soul that told you something was coming wasn't your imagination. It was confirmation. The ache you've been carrying is now colliding with acceleration. Your name has weight in heaven, not because of status but because of surrender. And now, the scheduled miracle that bears your name is approaching with divine precision. You won't have to chase it. It will locate you. You won't have to force it. It will unfold naturally, beautifully, unmistakably. I am aligning circumstances, preparing hearts, shifting environments, and removing barriers all at once to ensure that when this miracle arrives, it finds you whole, expectant, and ready to carry it well. Nothing about this is random. This is a fulfillment moment. This is the hour where the pages of destiny turn in your favor, and everything that once felt stuck will begin to flow with ease. Get ready to walk into the fullness of something that cannot be explained by logic, only by grace, because heaven has called your name, and the miracle has already left my hands. You're standing closer than you realize, closer to a divine release that cannot be held back any longer. And now, Let me unveil what I've prepared beyond the barrier that once looked immovable. The entryways you stood before, the ones that refused to budge no matter how hard you prayed, knocked, or hoped. Those very thresholds are trembling under the weight of my authority. What man shut, I never endorsed. What tradition labeled inaccessible, I never signed off on. I watched you walk to those doors with expectation, only to leave with confusion. I saw how many times you asked, "What am I missing?" Not knowing that the denial had nothing to do with your faith and everything to do with my timing. And now, in this very hour, I am initiating a divine unlocking. Not because circumstances suddenly improved, but because the appointed moment I chose has finally intersected with the position I placed you in. Those doors weren't permanently closed. They were divinely delayed for a purpose greater than your comfort. And now that purpose is about to be revealed, my favor is stepping into rooms you haven't even entered yet. What you once called rejection was merely redirection toward something I deem more fitting for your assignment. You see, these doors I'm opening are not ordinary. They carry alignment with my promises. They lead to ground you didn't know was yours, and they connect you with people who are already being stirred to welcome you. This is more than an opportunity. This is a shift in access. I'm not just letting you in. I'm giving you authority once you cross over. You will not need to knock again. I am turning keys in the spirit that respond to your obedience, your endurance, and your willingness to walk away from shortcuts. Some doors had to remain shut until your heart could steward what lay behind them without compromise. And now, with the weight of glory on your shoulders and wisdom in your steps, I am removing the resistance. Watch how quickly things move now. What once required a struggle will now yield under my command. Documents will be signed. Invitations will come. Meetings will happen without your manipulation. The favor attached to your name will pull open places that were never meant to stay closed to you. And when you walk through these openings, you won't walk in alone. I will go before you, prepare the atmosphere, and silence every voice that once said you weren't qualified. These are not partial openings. These are complete turnarounds. You will not beg for access. You will not compromise your identity to fit in. You will not shrink who you are to be accepted. You are entering with full permission, full authority, and full backing from heaven. The doors are opening not because of who you know on earth, but because of who you belong to in eternity. You've been faithful in the hallway. You've praised me when all you saw were closed spaces. You didn't walk away when everything said you should give up. And now I honor that posture with movement. Get ready for open doors that do not return to shut. This isn't temporary favor. This is a permanent passage into a place you couldn't force open, but I just made available. The hinges are loosening. The locks are falling off. The barriers are being removed. And what once seemed out of reach will now stand directly before you, open, waiting, and aligned, because I said the time is now. You've been collecting rejections like unanswered prayers, stacking them silently in the corners of your heart, wondering if all those closed paths meant something was wrong with you. But listen to me now. Those denials were not the end of the story. They were strategic redirections I carefully allowed to preserve what is sacred, pure, and designed solely for you. Every no that came, whether from people, places, systems, or circumstances, was not punishment but pruning. I wasn't withholding good things from you. I was removing the lesser so you wouldn't settle prematurely. My yes was never going to be placed beside 1,000 half-promises. I needed to make room for the magnitude of what I ordained for your life. You thought you lost opportunities, but what really happened was I swept away distractions disguised as open doors. You couldn't see it then, but you'll look back and realize my hand was intervening every single time something you desired slipped through your grasp. I saw the compromises hidden beneath the surface of that offer. I knew the intentions of the people you trusted that were never voiced aloud. I examined the foundation of the thing you almost built, and I saw the cracks you didn't notice. So I dismantled what would have collapsed, not to hurt you, but to preserve what's coming. My yes doesn't come with strings attached. hidden agendas, or backroom manipulation. It comes pure. It comes with peace. It comes with stability. And when it comes, it doesn't shift with moods or opinions. You see, the yes I have prepared for you cannot be voted out, cannot be sabotaged, and cannot be removed once I place it. You've been trained to believe that acceptance by men is necessary for advancement, but I'm about to prove that when I say yes, no other voice matters. What I am placing in your hands now won't be surrounded by conditions. You won't have to explain yourself, negotiate your worth, or water down your calling to access it. My yes is not fragile. It doesn't require convincing. It's not swayed by popularity or status, and it never arrives late. The reason those earlier doors closed with such finality was because I was protecting this yes from being contaminated by compromise. You needed time to outgrow the version of you that would have accepted less. And now that your spirit has matured, now that you've learned the difference between man's applause and my approval, now that your discernment has sharpened and your cravings have been purified, now you are ready to receive the yes that carries permanence. This yes comes with ease where there used to be striving. It comes with clarity where there used to be confusion. It comes with acceleration where there used to be resistance. You will walk into it without pushing. It will find you without forcing. And when it comes, you won't doubt whether it's from me, because peace will flood every room it enters with you. The counterfeits have fallen away. The noise has quieted. The distractions have lost their grip. And what remains is the purest form of my intention. No matter who tried to keep you out, no matter how many times you were overlooked, no matter how long you wandered, waiting for something to shift, the yes I'm releasing now is arriving with permanence and purpose. You don't have to chase what's yours. You don't need to revisit what I've already removed. Your job now is to prepare, because this yes will alter your entire atmosphere, and you will never have to return to that waiting room again. Now that the way is being made clear and the answer is drawing near, I must also deal with what has tried to cloud your vision, because clarity is not just a gift. It's a weapon in this season. My child, you've heard too many voices lately. Some have sounded helpful. Others came masked in spiritual language. But not all of them were from me. I know how hard it's been to discern truth when noise surrounds your every step. Every time you got close to breakthrough, a swirl of distraction rose up. Thoughts that made you second-guess your direction, people who planted uncertainty, environments that stirred unrest. It wasn't just random chaos. It was a coordinated attempt to disorient your spirit and make you question what I already confirmed. And I'm stepping in now, not only to bring the answer, but to clear the space around it. I'm silencing the conflicting opinions. I'm cutting ties with relationships that no longer carry alignment with your assignment. I'm canceling internal dialogues you never invited but continued to tolerate. And no longer will you walk in circles asking, "Is this really the way?" You will know. I will make the path straight before you, not by forcing you to figure it out through trial and error, but by speaking directly to your spirit with unmistakable conviction. When I lead, I leave no room for panic. I'm lifting the fog that made you feel stuck between decisions, and I'm exposing the voices that were never sent to edify but only to distract. Some of them carried authority but lacked my spirit. Others carried emotion but lacked truth. You listened because you didn't want to miss my move, but the very fear of missing it almost caused you to lose your footing. It ends now. I am restoring your spiritual hearing. I am fine-tuning your ability to recognize my whisper in the chaos. And I am training you to walk with such precision that no voice, no matter how loud, will override the peace I place within you. This is crucial, because what's coming next requires undivided focus. The blessing I'm releasing has specific instructions attached to it, and I will not let confusion interfere with what I'm assigning. You will no longer be double-minded. I'm granting you discernment that slices through deception with ease. You won't just sense what's wrong. You will recognize what's right. The second-guessing, the hesitation, the fear of choosing incorrectly, I'm stripping it all away. Where there was once anxiety, there will be assurance. Where there was once swirling emotion, there will be divine resolve. And this isn't clarity that you earn through effort. It's clarity I give through grace. I am restoring your confidence in hearing me. The moments you once relied on outside validation are being replaced with inner conviction rooted in my spirit. I will confirm things in such simple, unshakable ways that you'll walk with your head held high and your eyes fixed forward. No more detours based on confusion. No more paralysis from overthinking. You've been pulled back and forth long enough. I'm giving you clear direction, not because you begged, but because you are mine, and I don't lead my children with shadows. The enemy thrives in ambiguity, but I dwell in light. And I say now, your vision is being restored, your ears are being opened, and the swirling questions are being replaced with divine answers. What I'm bringing into your life next will require sharpness, stillness, and certainty. So I'm removing the static, and when I speak this time, there will be no mistaking that it's me. You've carried the weight of silent wondering for far too long, haven't you? Your prayers didn't stop at your lips. They traveled into the depths of your soul, where words became groanings too deep for language. I've watched how you pressed through without signs, how you trusted me when explanations never came, and how you chose to believe even when your heart was breaking under the tension of not knowing what came next. But now, the silence is lifting. The time of unanswered wandering is coming to an end. You see, I never ignored your cries. I was preparing the kind of answer that wouldn't require constant interpretation or decoding. I've heard the ache that said, "Lord, just give me something I can hold on to." And now I am responding in a way that bypasses confusion entirely. No more vague signals. No more indefinite feelings. What I am doing in your life will be so concrete, so visible, so physically undeniable that you'll no longer have to question whether it's real, because it will meet you in your hands, in your home, in your timeline, in your body, in your provision, and in your surroundings. You've been asking for breakthroughs that go beyond the spiritual and translate into the tangible. And I am now bridging the gap between heaven's intention and earth's manifestation. You will not be left with abstract encouragements. I am giving you touch points, visible, measurable markers of my intervention. The kind of answers that settle arguments. The kind of fulfillment that puts every question to rest. I am removing the distance between your longing and your reality. Where once you could only sense my movement, now you will see it unfold in front of you. You will no longer have to wonder if that stirring in your spirit was just your imagination, because the results I bring will speak louder than any doubt that ever tried to live in you. People around you will begin to notice the change before you even explain it. The shift will become so obvious that it cannot be hidden. I'm not just answering with words, I'm answering with results. I'm answering through resources you didn't expect, through opportunities you never saw coming, through restorations that once seemed impossible, through healing that doctors said couldn't happen, through reunions that defied logic, through favor that outpaced your qualifications. I am not giving partial solutions, I am giving fullness. This is your moment to witness what happens when divine promises meet prepared hearts. This is when the invisible becomes undeniable. You will touch the fruit of the seeds you planted in seasons of silence. You will hold in your arms what you once only envisioned in prayer. And the best part, this isn't the end of the answer. It's only the beginning. Because once I begin to respond in visible form, it triggers a chain reaction in your life. One answer opens the way for more. One breakthrough makes room for greater. One miracle becomes the seed for many more. What's coming is not symbolic, it is solid. I am answering in ways that leave no room for interpretation. And when you look around, you will know, not think, not assume, not hope, but know that it was me. No human hand could orchestrate what I'm about to deliver. No coincidence could replicate the timing, precision, and fullness of what I am releasing. You've cried in the dark. You've worshipped through weariness. You've waited with trembling faith. And now, I answer, Not with delay, not with distance, but with clarity, certainty, and manifestation. Watch closely. What once was unseen is about to be placed into your life with such intentional accuracy. You'll no longer ask, when? You'll simply say, it's here. Now that the answers are moving from unseen promises to tangible reality, I want you to understand what is happening in this very moment. The season of striving has ended. You have labored in faith, trusted me when resources were limited, and resisted the urge to force open doors prematurely. That surrender is what has brought you to this turning point. There were things that seemed distant, dreams that felt too far to grasp, hopes that slipped like vapor every time you tried to hold them, and yet, I have never removed them from your destiny. I simply preserved them until you were positioned to receive without the burden of strain. I do not want my children to bleed for blessings I already paid for. I am placing things into your hands now, not as a reward for performance, but as a result of alignment. You shifted from anxiety to trust, from panic to peace, and that change has prepared the atmosphere around you to receive what once lived only in your imagination. It's not that the promise changed. It's that your heart matured enough to carry it. You will no longer feel like you are chasing shadows. What I give freely, fully, and firmly. It will not come attached to exhaustion or endless proving. You won't have to manipulate circumstances or battle for validation to hold it. There is no race for it now, because it is yours, reserved, preserve it, and released by my hand. I am removing the barriers between your reach and your reward. The blessing you once viewed from a distance is now being lowered directly into your atmosphere. No more stretching with disappointment. No more watching others walk into rooms you were built for. It is now your turn to stand in what you once watched. What was previously beyond your capacity is now being reintroduced at a level that fits you perfectly. I am causing ease to replace effort, not because you're avoiding responsibility, but because my grace is making the difficult simple. This is not a bypass of preparation, but a fulfillment that follows it. I watched you sow in dry seasons. I counted every act of obedience you completed with trembling hands. And now, those seeds are producing harvest, not in fragments but in fullness. This blessing will not slip through your fingers. It is not temporary. It is not unstable. It is secured by covenant, wrapped in divine timing, and delivered by my Spirit. You will not fear losing what I give you. The anxiety that crept in from previous disappointments is breaking off now. The part of you that always braced for things to fall apart is being healed. This time will be different. You won't have to constantly watch your back or fear sabotage. What I place into your care now comes with divine covering, not just in the giving, but in the keeping. I am restoring your confidence to receive without guilt, to enjoy without suspicion, and to carry without cracking. The hands that once shook from rejection are now steady with favor. You are being trusted with what once overwhelmed you. And you will discover quickly that my timing wasn't to deprive you. It was to prepare the surroundings so you could hold the blessing without contention. You won't have to chase down support, explain your worth, or justify your progress. I will cause the right people to come to you. I will make room where there was once resistance. And I will ensure that what I deliver arrives without opposition strong enough to shake its placement. You have passed through fire, and now emerge with clean hands, ready to receive with rest. What was unreachable is now undeniable, and it's coming to you not by force but by favor. What I am placing in your life right now was never designed to be fought over. You do not have to compete, strive, compare, or contend to claim what is already written in my book with your name engraved on it. The world has taught you that you must rush to the front, that you must beat others to the finish line, that someone else getting ahead of you means you've missed your moment. But I have come to dismantle that lie from your soul. What is from me carries no rivalry, no threat of removal, no risk of loss. I do not hand out blessings like trophies for those who try the hardest. I give inheritance to my children simply because they are mine. You cannot earn what I've already decided to give, and no one can take what has been crafted specifically for you. I am removing the illusion that you need to fight your way into visibility. I am cutting off the pressure that makes you believe you're behind because someone else arrived first. This is not a race for survival. This is a release of fulfillment. I'm eliminating the distraction of comparison, the noise of watching others rise while wondering when it will be your turn. Your portion has never been delayed because of someone else's success. My blessings are not scarce. I am not distributing them in limited supply. I don't have to take from one to give to another. I operate in abundance. What I've assigned to you does not require anyone else's approval or permission to land in your life. You don't have to announce yourself to be noticed. You don't have to defend your place in my plan. What's meant for you will find you without striving. I'm removing the spirit of competition because it has tried to convince you that you're in a battle for what I already sealed in your favor. You will no longer feel the weight of measuring your worth by the pace of others. You will be freed from the need to overperform to be accepted. My gift is not based on effort, but intimacy. I give to you because I know you. I know the nights you cried without words. I know the days you kept going when your soul begged to give up. I saw the private worship, the silent sacrifices, the humble obedience, not as currency to buy my favor, but as evidence that your heart stayed anchored to me even when the road grew dark. You didn't need to compete for this blessing. You were chosen for it. And now, I am aligning it to come without pressure, without posturing, without panic. You won't have to explain yourself. You won't have to convince anyone you're ready. I will make it undeniably clear that what I release into your life is a result of my plan, not man's opinion. And because this blessing is spiritually sealed, it cannot be snatched, sabotaged, or substituted. No counterfeit can copy what I have prepared. No delay can diminish its value. No obstacle can stand in its way. It will arrive at the exact moment I send it, and it will land in your hands, not as a prize you won, but as a promise I kept. The world may not understand now that the path has been cleared and your hands are ready to receive. I need you to understand something very specific about what comes next. This next access point in your journey will not come through force or personal effort, but through a divine connection I have handpicked for you. There is someone on the way, already walking in obedience to my whisper, already being stirred by my spirit to move in your direction. This individual does not come with strings attached, hidden motives, or agendas cloaked in flattery. No, this person carries purpose, and they have been assigned by heaven to intersect your life at this appointed time. You have asked me for direction, for doors to open, for confirmation that what you sense in your spirit is more than hope, and I'm responding not just with information, but with a living answer. I am sending help, but not the kind you've experienced before. This help is not shallow, not temporary, not transactional. It's strategic. It's covered. It's saturated in the same oil I've been pouring over you in secret. You don't need to look for them. You don't need to guess who it is. When I send, it will be obvious. The timing will be unmistakable. Their presence will carry peace. Their words will echo what I've already whispered to you in your quiet moments. They won't just affirm your potential. They'll activate what's been dormant. You see, there are doors in your life that were never meant to be opened with your own key. Some access points require a partnership, a catalyst, a sent one. I am a God of alignment, and just as I placed Jonathan in David's life, Elijah in Elisha's, and Elizabeth in Mary's, so too am I sending someone into your path not to complete you, but to unlock what has been sealed until now. This isn't about status, visibility, or popularity. This is about sacred assignment. The person I'm sending will carry the spiritual code to help advance what I planted in your heart long ago. They will not distract you. They will not delay you. They will not distort what I've said. Instead, they will serve as confirmation that I am not only speaking, I am moving. They will open a space you didn't even know existed. They will invite you into conversations where your name has already been spoken with favor. They will vouch for what I've placed in you without needing proof. This divine connection won't require performance. It will be a recognition of calling. You will not need to defend yourself. You will not need to compete. They will see you through my eyes, and you will know they were sent, not stumbled upon. I know how many times people came into your life claiming to be for you, only to wound what was precious and misuse what was pure. That season has ended. This time, you'll know it's different because there will be no confusion, no hidden tension, no unease in your spirit. I am orchestrating this connection, not man. And because I am the one sending them, no opposition will be able to block what they unlock. They are not coming to take. They are coming to activate. They are not arriving late. They are showing up precisely when your spirit and circumstances align for the shift I ordained. When you meet them, don't resist the moment. Don't shrink back in fear of what went wrong before. Don't doubt whether you're ready. I prepared you for this. I've also prepared them. Your journey, like yours, had been shaped in fire. And now, the intersection of your two paths will ignite something that no delay, detour, or distraction could prevent. Get ready to walk through a door that only a divine appointment could open, because what comes next won't be something you achieve, but something you walk into with someone I've chosen to carry the key. Now that I've dispatched the one who carries the key to unlock your next door, prepare yourself for the unmistakable sign that your moment has truly arrived, and it will not come the way you expect. I have already spoken to your spirit in whispers, dreams, and inner stirrings, but now I am sending external validation, one that cuts through every last bit of lingering doubt. And here's what you must understand. It will not be delivered by the sources you've grown accustomed to. I am about to speak through a vessel you would never choose, someone outside your circle, someone who doesn't know your history but will echo the very words I planted in the depths of your soul. This will not be coincidence. This will not be vague. This will be precision. The moment it arrives, your spirit will leap because it will confirm what you dared not say aloud. It will carry weight, not because of who says it but because of what's embedded in it, my divine fingerprints. The voice I use will not come polished, rehearsed, or religious. It may come from someone younger, someone you overlooked, or someone who's unaware of your private process. But their words will pierce through the atmosphere like lightning, and in that very instant, everything will click. I am doing this not to impress you, but to awaken you. I want you alert, aware, and leaning in with expectation. Don't be so focused on the familiar that you miss the revelation wrapped in the unfamiliar. My ways are higher, and I delight in showing up through the least expected channels. I've done it before, through a burning bush, a whisper in a cave, even a donkey that carried prophecy. So why wouldn't I do it again now, in a way that humbles the proud and elevates the attentive? This confirmation won't just affirm what's coming. It will shift how you carry yourself. Once you hear it, the hesitation that's kept you questioning your next step will dissolve. It will break through mental fog and emotional fatigue. You will feel the power of being seen, not by man, but by your Creator. This moment will not only validate your direction, it will give you fresh momentum to move boldly into what I've prepared. You'll no longer need to explain yourself or justify what you know in your spirit. The word I send through this unexpected voice will do the explaining for you. It will carry such clarity and accuracy that it will silence every lie the enemy whispered during your wilderness. It will pierce through fear and replace it with holy confidence. And from that moment forward, you will no longer walk as one who's hoping, but as one who's certain. I will not allow confusion to follow you into your next season. I will not let uncertainty sabotage what I've secured. This is why I'm sending confirmation with such intentional timing, not before, not after, but right in the moment where you're tempted to pause or pull back. It will arrive suddenly, quickly, in a form that demands attention. It may interrupt your day, your routine, or even your doubt, but it will leave no room for misunderstanding. It will carry my breath, my truth, and my power, and when it reaches your ears, your heart will testify, "This is the moment he told me about." So be attentive, beloved. Don't dismiss the unusual. Don't overlook the stranger. Don't ignore the interruption. For in that moment, wrapped in ordinary conversation, I will drop a divine confirmation that anchors you in purpose. And once you hear it, you will no longer wonder if you're on the right path. You will walk it with unwavering boldness. You've come too far for retreat to be an option. I've watched the enemy try to circle you back to old places, familiar dysfunctions, and patterns that once held you hostage. But I stepped in without announcement and severed every connection that threatened to pull you into the past. You don't even realize how many doors I've permanently sealed behind you to ensure that you would never return to cycles meant to destroy you. I didn't just bring you forward, I scorched the trail behind you. The temptations that once captivated you are losing their grip. The people who drained your spirit have been repositioned or removed, not because I wanted to isolate you, but because I refused to let what I've delivered you from have access to you again. The bridge that connected you to compromise, instability, fear, manipulation, shame, it no longer exists. And I need you to understand this. You are not who you used to be. You've grown through fire. You've matured through resistance. You've developed discernment that keeps you from falling into the same traps twice. I am not leading you in circles. I am leading you forward, and the ground behind you has crumbled for a reason. I know there have been moments when the pressure of the present made the past look appealing. It's how the enemy works. He'll glorify what once hurt you, trying to draw you back into a life that my grace pulled you out of. But you must know this. There is nothing behind you that compares to what is in front of you. And to guarantee your progress, I've taken action. I closed the back route. You couldn't go back even if you tried. The bridge is gone. What once held power over your emotions is being stripped of influence. The thoughts that used to spiral into defeat are being replaced by strength and clarity. The places that once welcomed your brokenness no longer recognize the version of you I've raised up. This isn't a temporary shift. This is a permanent reset. I'm not just leading you away from something painful. I'm leading you into something sacred. And part of protecting that is ensuring the past cannot follow you where you're going. This is why certain people disappeared. This is why certain doors never reopen. This is why you've been feeling a finality in your spirit that you can't explain. It's because I finalized it. I issued the command to dismantle the connections that would sabotage your future. Even if you tried to rebuild those old bridges, they would not hold. The weight of your anointing would crush them instantly. You are stepping into new ground now, and it's not fragile, it's fortified. And as you move forward, I will continue to illuminate because what's ahead of you carries a weight of purpose that makes regression impossible. You've been restructured internally, your discernment has been sharpened, and your tolerance for what once wounded you has been dissolved by my spirit. You don't even fit into the same rooms anymore, not because you're trying to distance yourself, but because the oil on your life has outgrown the containers that once held you. I have made you incompatible with what previously entrapped you. No more rehearsing conversations from broken chapters. No more holding on to memories like souvenirs of survival. You are not just a survivor of what was. You are the forerunner of what is being built next. I've closed that gate with finality because what is before you requires all of you, fully present, fully awakened, fully available for the new thing I'm pouring out. The relationships that tried to entangle your progress, the cycles that once seduced your emotions, the self-doubt that echoed like a shadow every time you tried to rise, they have no more power. I've not only broken their hold, I've dismantled the agreements you unknowingly made with fear, shame, and scarcity. You are no longer that version of yourself who settled for being tolerated. You are stepping into the authority of one who is chosen, appointed, and trusted. There is no reason to look back with longing. I've already pulled the curtain on that chapter. The pain that once defined your decisions has lost its voice. You don't owe explanations to seasons that could not handle your growth. You don't need to revisit places just to prove how far you've come. Your testimony is not in proving others wrong. It's in walking forward without needing their applause. And even when the enemy tries to trigger old wounds, I will remind you that your healing is not partial. It is sealed. What once shook you will now serve as a reference point for how radically I've rebuilt you. You no longer need to fear slipping back into old patterns, not because of your strength, but because of my intervention. I have gone ahead of you, blocking every exit that leads back to regret. And I will continue to shield your path so that even if voices try to echo from behind, they will sound distant, faint, powerless. I've redirected your hunger toward what is holy. I've shifted your atmosphere so that peace, not panic, becomes your resting place. You are being delivered from cycles that were not your fault, but became your identity. I'm restoring to you what you didn't know was stolen: your voice, your clarity, your spiritual inheritance. And now, I say this with finality: you are not going back. Not to confusion, not to counterfeit comfort, not to familiar dysfunction. The drawl of what once was is now being replaced by the pull of what's waiting. What's before you is pure, stable, and rooted in promise. You are not running. You are rising. You are not retreating. You are being released. There is no more backward in your vocabulary, because I have commanded everything in your life to move forward from this point on. The wind of my spirit is behind you. The strength of my hand is under you, and the fire of my presence is surrounding you. Let it be known in the heavenlies: the path that once led you to pain is gone, and in its place, a new way is forming, carved by grace, paved with favor, and sealed with my glory. You may not even realize how deeply fear has been entangled in your thoughts, shaping your decisions, slowing your steps, suppressing your boldness. But I have seen it. I have watched the way it whispered to you at night, interrupting peace with shadows of what if. I saw how it disguised itself as caution, parading as wisdom, when in truth, it was rooted in trauma from battles you never fully healed from. But now, I am stepping in not just to comfort you. I'm here to confront what's been trying to steal your strength. The fear that lived in the background of your life is being evicted. It has no permission to accompany you into this next place I'm leading you. It may have lingered for years, but today it loses authority. I am not giving you partial relief. I am issuing a spiritual removal. What once gripped your heart in moments of pressure will now be met with a stillness you won't have to fabricate. I am infusing you with a kind of courage that cannot be shaken by changing circumstances or opinions. This isn't the kind of bravery that fades when challenged. It's a fire that burns steady, even in the dark. I'm awakening a holy boldness in you, the kind that doesn't need external validation to act. You'll begin to feel it rise in your chest when old anxieties try to speak. You'll notice yourself choosing action over hesitation, faith over worry, peace over panic, not because you're forcing yourself, but because I've replaced the weight of fear with a mantle of authority. My confidence will cover you like armor. You won't have to fake strength anymore. You'll live from it. And when people ask how you've changed so quickly, they won't understand it wasn't therapy alone. It wasn't a motivational speech. It wasn't a shift in environment. It was me. It was my spirit breathing certainty into places that once shook with dread. You've wrestled with fear long enough. The fear of failing, the fear of being seen, the fear of being abandoned again, of not being good enough, of choosing wrong, of speaking up, of dreaming too big. And with every fear came a restraint. But I didn't create you to live confined. I didn't design you to play small. I placed my image within you, and fear has no place in a heart that's been filled with my presence. That's why I'm removing it completely. Not just the surface-level anxiety, but the root system, the hidden core, the silent belief that kept saying, maybe this isn't for me. That lie is breaking now. I'm severing its hold and speaking my truth into every place where it once lived. I say you are chosen. I say you are called. I say you are ready. And I say you are rising, not in pride, but in purpose. You will not walk on eggshells around your calling anymore. You will not apologize for the favor I've placed on you. You will not step back so others feel more comfortable. What I've given you is not up for debate. It is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not subject to fear's opinion. My confidence is not loud, but it is unshakable. It does not shout. It stands. And that is what you will do now. Stand, speak, move, lead, without the hesitation that once stalked your every step. From this point forward, fear bows when you enter the room. Fear flees when you lift your voice. Fear dissolves when you align with what I've already declared. You are not weak. You are not second-guessing. You are not waiting for permission. I've already given it. Now walk in it, boldly, freely, fearlessly. You've cried out for answers, and I've heard every tear fall like a petition. But what I'm doing now is not simply about giving you something new. It's about redeeming what once seemed wasted beyond repair. This good news is layered with justice, and at the core of it is restoration, the kind that doesn't merely return what was taken, but rewrites the reason you endured in the first place. I'm not giving you a moment of relief. I'm releasing purpose so powerful that even your past suffering will bow to it. The broken seasons, the betrayals, the closed doors, the silent nights where it felt like no one understood your ache. I am breathing over all of it now. What once felt random will begin to take shape. I am drawing the lines between what you lost and what you're about to walk into, and you will see clearly. I never left you, not even once. The heartache wasn't meaningless. The delays weren't punishment. The stripping wasn't rejection. I was clearing space. I was maturing your eyes. I was deepening your well so that what I pour out now doesn't evaporate in shallow ground. You didn't just survive pain. You were refined by it. And now, what I restore to you will come back multiplied. I'm giving you the kind of breakthrough that turns mourning into movement, wounds into wisdom, and tears into testimony. This isn't restoration that simply looks like compensation. It's deeper. It will heal. It will reach into the very places where sorrow once settled and lift out the residue that even time couldn't touch. You see, what I am restoring is not limited to circumstances. I'm restoring identity, the sense of self you lost while you were trying to be strong through the storm. I'm restoring laughter that once flowed easily, then slowly disappeared beneath burdens too heavy to describe. I'm restoring your ability to trust without flinching, to hope without hesitation, to believe without guarding your heart against disappointment. My restoration isn't cosmetic, it's structural. It doesn't just mask the damage, it rebuilds the foundation until what once collapsed becomes the strongest part of your testimony. You'll walk through the same streets where pain used to find you, and you will no longer flinch, not because you forgot, but because I rewrote the memory with my hand of healing. I'm going to make the timeline make sense, even the chapters you wished had never been written. I'm redeeming the heartbreak that came from people who misused your kindness. I'm restoring the confidence that was stolen by voices that criticized the very gifts I placed in you. I'm rebuilding the dreams you buried because it hurt too much to keep hoping. And as I do it, I won't just return what was lost. I will reintroduce you to yourself through my eyes. You are not the damaged version of who you once were. You are not the sum of what happened to you. You are the refined, renewed, reawakened version that I saw before the foundation of the world. Every scar now holds glory. Every failure has been folded into my plan. And what's more, I'm restoring time. Time you thought was gone forever. Time that slipped away while you were waiting for answers. Time that was consumed by distractions, battles, and detours. I am returning it not by rewinding the clock, but by accelerating the fulfillment. What should have taken years, I'm doing in moments. What you thought you missed, I've been holding in reserve until your hands were free enough to carry it. You won't even recognize the life that's being rebuilt around you, because what I'm creating is not a replica of what was, but a revelation of what should have always been. Relationships will be healed not by pretending nothing happened, but by confronting the wound and washing it clean with grace. Opportunities will come back to you, but this time they'll fit, because you've outgrown the smaller version of your purpose. Your voice will return with power, not because you were silent out of weakness, but because I was teaching you the weight of every word. I am giving you back your voice, your vision, your value, and you will no longer have to explain why you had to break in order to rise. My child, the restoration I am sending will make others ask how you recovered so fully, and the answer will not be your strength, but my mercy. I'm not rewriting your story by skipping over the pain. I'm rewriting it by showing you how I used every ounce of it to build something eternal. There will be nothing wasted. Loving forgotten. Loving dismiss. Even the parts you tried to erase from your own memory are being touched now by my redeeming fire. This is not shallow repair. This is sacred revival. I'm pulling beauty from ashes, joy from mourning, and strength from weakness. You will smile again, not because you're pretending to be okay, but because your heart will finally be whole. You will dream again, not out of desperation, but out of divine alignment. And when you look back, it won't hurt anymore. It will testify. You'll say with confidence, that season didn't break me. It built me for what I'm holding now. This is the restoration you've longed for, and it's already unfolding. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. You've asked me to fix the parts of your life that shattered without warning, the relationships that crumbled when you needed them most, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, and the dreams that dissolved while you watched helplessly. But I need you to hear this now. I'm not simply putting the pieces back together. I'm not reassembling something fragile that could fall apart again. I'm bringing forth something brand new, something that cannot be undone by human failure, betrayal, or loss. I don't rebuild in the same form. I restore by transforming. You thought you needed repair, but I've declared replacement. I am not handing you a patched-up version of a life you thought you wanted. I am giving you the life I wrote for you before pain ever touched your path. This is not reconstruction. This is resurrection. What I am doing cannot be traced back to the ruins. It will carry no resemblance to what once broke your heart. I am replacing the former structure with something that will stand through storms and seasons. I'm placing in your spirit what no fire can burn, what no enemy can steal, and what no circumstance can corrupt. What you thought you lost was only temporary scaffolding. What I'm placing now is built from eternal substance. It will not age. It will not rot. It will not falter under pressure. This is the kind of restoration that doesn't fade, it multiplies. I'm giving you peace that cannot be disrupted by external voices. I'm granting joy that doesn't depend on outcomes. I'm gifting you with vision that stretches beyond your lifetime, a legacy that will speak even when you're silent. You asked me to fix what hurt you. I'm giving you a future that will heal others. You wanted closure. I'm writing continuation. There were things you clung to because they represented stability, but I had to let them fall apart so you could discover what's unshakable. You prayed for me to mend what broke, but I'm removing what was never meant to stay and replacing it with what is eternally rooted in my purpose. I know the ache you carried when it all fell apart. I watched the way you tried to hold the pieces, hoping somehow they'd fit again. But I never intended for you to rebuild alone. I never asked you to carry fragments I planned to replace. Even now, I'm sending my spirit to lift the weight of what you've been holding. I'm releasing you from the responsibility to fix what I already buried. Stop trying to resurrect what I've already pronounced finished. Stop returning to places where grace has departed. What I am offering in its place is not second best. It is sacred. It's not a lesser version of the dream. It's the fulfillment of a destiny untouched by delay. You look around and realize nothing from before is missing, because what I've given now satisfies at the soul level. You won't crave what left. You won't grieve what collapsed. You won't mourn what I removed, because the glory of what I'm placing in its place will overwhelm the memory of what once was. This is not about recovery. This is about divine replacement. The places you once wept will become wells of laughter. The chapters that once brought confusion will now hold clarity. The doors that once slammed shut will become altars of testimony. I am restoring what matters, not just what was visible, but what was vital. And what you're stepping into will outlast circumstances, seasons, even lifetimes. Because what I'm building in you now is rooted in eternity. This is your exchange. The temporary hath been traded for the everlasting. The broken has been surrendered for the unshakable. You no longer have to fix it. I've already finished it. You've endured seasons that tried to suffocate your inner spark, times when the pressure of life pressed so hard that even your prayers felt faint, your hope flickered like a dying flame, and your desire to keep going thinned under the weight of unrelenting battles. But what I'm doing in you now isn't just about reigniting what faded. It's about installing a fire that burns from the inside out, a flame not fueled by emotion or external motivation, but by the eternal breath of my spirit. This fire cannot be put out by disappointment. It cannot be dimmed by delay. It is untouched by discouragement and completely immune to opposition. I'm not giving you temporary inspiration. I'm infusing you with divine combustion, a holy energy that will sustain you in every season, not just the ones that feel easy or rewarding. You will feel it when you wake up, a sense of urgency, not from fear, but from purpose. You will notice it in your voice, a new boldness, one that does not shake when challenged or silence itself for comfort. This is a flame that cannot be negotiated with. It is relentless. It is focused. It is steady. It will stir you in moments of stillness, reminding you of your calling when everything else tries to lull you back into passivity. This is not a fire to entertain emotions. This is a fire to execute destiny. I'm placing it in you because what I've assigned to your life demands consistency that does not fluctuate with applause or rejection. And this fire I am kindling now will carry you into rooms you once didn't believe you belonged in. It will empower you to say yes when fear would have made you say no. It will push you past the edge of your comfort zone and into realms of faith that make space for miracles. This is not hype. It is holy resolve. You won't need adrenaline. You will parry conviction. You won't rely on external triggers. You will move from internal truth. I'm giving you fire that will cause you to walk differently, speak differently, and see differently. You will no longer tolerate stagnation or shrink yourself to make others feel comfortable. This fire will cause old appetites to fall away. It will make old patterns feel foreign. It will birth an intolerance for anything that doesn't align with what I've placed inside of you. It will clarify what matters and burn away distractions without effort. You won't even have to fight for focus. It will rise naturally as my spirit fans the flame day by day. And when opposition comes, and yes, it will come, this fire will not flicker. It will not retreat. It will burn brighter. Because it is not powered by will, it is powered by divine design. I'm transforming you into someone who cannot be silenced, someone who cannot be stopped, someone who will not grow cold in the middle of contradiction. His fire will sustain you through rejection and release. It will outlive seasons of lack. It will remain even when others leave. It is not tied to outcomes. It is anchored in truth. And as you carry it, you will begin to ignite others. People will encounter you and feel the heat of what's alive within. You won't have to announce it. The atmosphere will shift around you because of it. I'm not making you flaggy. I'm making you flame-fed. And the world cannot handle a heart on fire with my presence. You will disrupt darkness just by standing still. You will drive out despair with your words. And you will walk forward not just with purpose, but with unstoppable momentum. This is the season where I light something in you that cannot be put out, and it starts now. Not next week. Not when things get easier. Now, because the time for passive living is over, and the hour for spirit-led fire is here. You've tried to carry yourself for so long, through battles that drained you, moments that almost silenced your will to continue, and days where even standing felt like a miracle. But I need you to hear me now. Your rise is not dependent on your own strength, energy, resources, or consistency. It is happening because I have placed my hand beneath you, and I will not let you fall. This isn't about your ability, it's about my authority. You are not ascending by sheer willpower or positive thinking. You are being lifted by grace that does not fail, by power that never depletes, by love that holds even when your own hands let go. I've seen every moment when you whispered, "I can't do this anymore." I didn't rebuke you. I reinforced you. I didn't demand more. I gave you what you lacked. And now, as you move forward, don't look inward for strength. Look upward. You will rise because I've ordained it. You will not collapse, not now, not with everything I've placed in motion. My child, I am your anchor, your foundation, your invisible force that steadies you when the winds blow hard and the road turns steep. Even when you stumble, you won't shatter. Even when you feel empty, I'll fill you again. This rise is not based on perfection. It's built on surrender. When you gave me your exhaustion, I exchanged it for endurance. When you laid down your pride, I clothed you with supernatural resolve. The ground beneath you will not give way because I've secured it. I'm elevating you with strategy, not speed. You don't need to sprint to prove progress. Every step you take is already being magnified by my spirit. You will go further in less time, not by doing more, but by depending more. This is the season where my strength will show off through your simplicity. You won't need to announce your comeback. It will be evident by how effortlessly I carry you through what others thought would destroy you. Even now, I'm lifting burdens off your shoulders, silent pressures you never talked about, internal wars you didn't know how to fight, invisible heaviness that made joy feel like a stranger. I'm removing it all, not by demanding you be strong, but by inviting you to rest in me. The rise that's coming is not violent, it's gentle. It will feel like peace. It will look like ease. And still, it will be the most powerful move of your life. I'm lifting you out of the low places, not just externally, but internally. You won't think like a survivor anymore. You won't carry the language of defeat. You won't anticipate disappointment. I'm changing your posture, not by your effort, but by my touch. You're rising because I said so. Because my word doesn't return void. Because my promises don't expire. Because I've appointed this hour for your head to be lifted. Others will wonder how you made it. They won't see the full story. They'll only see the light coming back into your eyes, the strength returning to your step, the confidence resting in your voice. But you will know, it wasn't you. It was me. I carried you when no one else could. I believed in you when you doubted yourself. I preserved you for this. And now I'm presenting you, not as broken, but as beautifully restored. So don't fear the rising, embrace it. Don't explain it, live it. You're being lifted not for display, but for purpose. I've placed you on higher ground so that you'll see clearer, speak louder, and lead from a place of humility and fire. This isn't just your rise, it's your unveiling. I've held you long enough. Now I show the world what I've built in secret. And nothing, no voice, no circumstance, no past, can hold you down again. My power is lifting you, and my power will keep you there. There were seasons where your struggle was so hidden that even those closest to you had no idea how deep the pain ran. You learned how to smile through pressure, how to function through fatigue, how to carry burdens in rooms where you were expected to lead, while barely surviving inside. But nothing you endured in silence went unnoticed by me. Every internal war, every quiet surrender, every moment you laid your head down hoping for strength to face another day, I was there. And now, what once lived in secrecy is being transformed into a story of divine intervention. I'm pulling back the veil, not to embarrass you, but to empower others through what you survive. Your private pain is becoming public purpose. What you once couldn't speak of without tears will become the very thing that brings healing to someone else. I've preserved your journey not for shame but for demonstration. Because what I brought you through wasn't just about you, it was about unlocking freedom in lives you haven't even met yet. There is authority on your voice that cannot be fabricated. When you speak, it will cut through walls that sermons and strategies never could. Because it won't come from theory, it will come from truth that was for you in fire. You'll no longer hide the chapters that were hard to live through. You'll declare them boldly, not with pride, but with power. You'll say, I've been there, and chains will break in others who thought they were alone. You'll release what once tormented you, and it will release healing in others who thought no one could understand. I allowed your story to include struggles so that your testimony would carry weight. I let you wrestle privately so that when I lift you publicly, it would be undeniable who sustained you. This is not about spotlight, it's about surrender that produced evidence. You didn't just survive the storm, you found me in the middle of it. And now, others will find me through your transparency. You've been wondering why I didn't step in sooner, why I let it go on as long as it did, but I was building something eternal in those unseen moments. I was shaping you, stretching your discernment, deepening your intimacy with me. And I knew the time would come when your pain would become a key. Not just a memory, a weapon. Not just a scar, a strategy. You won't need to be eloquent. You'll just need to be honest. Because your testimony will carry my fingerprint, and that alone will open hearts and shift atmospheres. You don't need a platform to be powerful. You need only obedience. I will lead you to speak when it's time, and when you do, the weight of your truth will disarm defenses. Those who silently suffer the way you did will begin to breathe again. They'll say, if God could do that for them, maybe He hasn't forgotten me. And you'll tell them He hasn't. Your story matters because I wrote it. And I'm not ashamed of your process. I was with you in every chapter. And now I'm revealing that what was hard to live through is holy to share. Your voice is not tainted by what happened. It's been anointed by endurance. What once silenced you has become what I'll use to amplify my glory. So get ready. The testimony that once felt too heavy to carry is now about to carry others. And you won't need to relive the pain to release the power. I'll give you the words, the moments, the places, and you'll release them like water to dry ground. What you survived in silence will soon become someone else's reason to believe again. This is the hour I use your history for healing. You are my messenger, and I'm writing freedom through every word you once fought to speak. You've worried about what was being said behind closed doors, how decisions were made without your voice present, how your name was handled in places you couldn't enter. But I want you to know, I was there. Long before you were invited, long before you were visible, long before recognition came, I was already speaking on your behalf. I stood in spaces where your influence hadn't reached, and I surrounded your name with favor when others tried to bury it under assumption and accusation. You were not overlooked. You were covered. You were not dismissed. You were defended. When gossip tried to taint your character, I silenced the whispers. When envy attempted to poison perception, I cleansed the air. When schemes were laid to block your path, I disrupted the plans and disarmed the motives. You didn't see it, but I shielded you from outcomes that could have crushed your future. You kept asking me why some doors hadn't opened, not realizing they were contaminated with motives that would have derailed you if I hadn't intervened. I withheld access to protect your assignment. I redirected conversations so that your name would only be attached to what I ordained. Not every invitation is a promotion, and not every platform is safe. That's why I had to act without explanation. I preserved your influence while it was still vulnerable, while your heart was still healing, while your boundaries were still forming. I didn't allow exposure that would have invited premature pressure. Instead, I built your reputation in my courts first. I established your name in heaven before I ever let it echo through the halls of man. And now, I'm releasing you into environments that have already been prepared to honor what I've placed in you. You won't have to defend your right to be there. You won't need to prove your worth. The weight of my presence will accompany you, and it will be undeniable. What others tried to erase, I have engraved. What they attempted to silence, I have sanctified. You are not walking into these places alone. My name is going before you, and yours is wrapped inside it. I've spoken for you in circles you didn't even know existed. I've placed your name on the hearts of those I've assigned to bless you. And when the time comes, they will mention you without prompting. They will recall you without effort. They will open doors for you without even knowing why they feel led to. That is how I move, subtly, sovereignly, supernaturally. You don't need to campaign for your future. You don't need to chase validation. You don't need to rehearse strategies to gain approval. What I've ordained, no man can deny. What I've sealed, no voice can smear. Even if false words were spoken, even if you've been misrepresented, even if your past was used as a weapon, I have overruled it all. I've rewritten the script. I've exposed false witnesses. I've positioned your name next to favor in the mouths of people you have yet to meet. You thought you were unseen, but I was planting your identity in the very places your purpose is now being summoned to. And when it all begins to unfold, it will feel sudden to you, but it's been developing for a long time in secret. You weren't waiting in vain. You were being established in realms you couldn't see. This is why I told you to stay silent. This is why I didn't let you defend yourself. I was already doing it for you. And now, every hidden honor, every delayed recognition, every invisible intercession is about to come to light. You will enter rooms where no one can explain why your name came up, but you will know. You'll smile, not in surprise, but in holy remembrance. This is the fulfillment of protection that was invisible until now. I shielded your name so I could now unveil it in glory. There's a part of your story that felt too heavy to speak of, a hidden place, a silent wound, a memory shadowed by shame and silence. You didn't ask for that battle. You didn't choose that moment of darkness. It found you unexpectedly, tried to suffocate your identity, and made you believe that it would always define you. But I have been watching, not from a distance but from within the depths of that very shadow. And now, I declare with full authority, my light is coming into that space. What once was covered in heaviness is about to shine with healing. I am exposing the pain not to embarrass you, but to free you. I'm not asking you to pretend it never happened. I'm revealing my power by showing what I can do with the very thing that tried to end you. The place the enemy thought would be your grave will now become your garden. That moment he tried to label you, define you, limit you, I'm using it as the platform for my glory. You've hidden that part of your heart, afraid that if anyone saw it, they'd walk away or judge what they couldn't understand. But I never turned away. I stayed with you through every flash of fear, every breathless night, every silent scream. I saw the internal battles no one else noticed. And while darkness surrounded you, I was weaving light into your future. Now the time has come for what I've prepared to rise to the surface. I'm not healing this by erasing the memory. I'm healing it by overpowering it with my presence. Where there was once hopelessness, there will be strength. Where there was confusion, there will be peace. Where there was despair, there will be deep joy. You will look at that place and no longer flinch. You'll see it as the very proof that I do not abandon, I do not fail, and I do not forget. My child, I'm turning the site of the attack into the birthplace of new purpose. The light I'm shining won't just reveal, it will redeem. It will restore your name, your story, your courage. What you thought would always be a scar will become a sign. People will look and say, how are they still standing? And you will answer, because God stepped into the dark and spoke light. You didn't survive because you were strong. You survived because I would not let the darkness win. I was there when you thought it was over. I was there when you lost your sense of direction. And now, I'm here again, not just as comfort, but as resurrection. You thought it was buried. I've been watering it in secret. And now I'm bringing light so it can bloom in full view. This isn't about reliving pain. It's about releasing power. I'm giving you words for what once felt unspeakable. I'm giving you vision in the place where you were once blinded by sorrow. The very area where you felt silenced will become the place where your voice roars. I'm not wasting one detail. I'm not skipping the chapters you thought were too broken to be used. I'm restoring with such precision that you'll forget how long you carried the shame. I'm replacing the hush of pain with the sound of praise. And when you walk into this next season, Don't be surprised when people are drawn to the very story you thought would disqualify you. I have flipped the script. What tried to finish you is now fueling you. What was dark is now drenched in light. And my child, you are emerging from that place not as a victim, but as a vessel, glowing with the radiance of redemption only I could write. You may feel like things are simply improving, as if one good turn is coming after another. But I need you to understand what's really happening. This is not an emotional lift or a temporary wave of encouragement. This is a divine reordering, a turning point that changes the trajectory of your entire life. What's unfolding now is not random, and it's not small. It is a strategic transition, preordained before time began, where everything starts to align with what I've spoken over you from the very beginning. You are not stepping into another chapter. You are stepping into a new book. The rules are different here. The limitations that once restricted you no longer apply. The burdens you carried in the previous season won't survive in this new one. The heaviness is lifting, not because it got lighter, but because I've placed you in a new dimension where the weight of former things can no longer hold you down. This shift is not subtle, it's structural. I'm rearranging your relationships, your routines, your resources, not to confuse you, but to confirm that what was no longer fits what is coming. I'm closing doors that once made you feel secure, because you no longer need to hide in what's familiar. I'm stretching your capacity not to overwhelm you, but to prepare you for what I'm placing in your care. What you're about to carry wouldn't have fit inside your old rhythm. That's why I've shaken everything. That's why things felt unstable. I wasn't punishing you. I was loosening what could no longer go with you. My shift is holy. It doesn't always come with comfort, but it always comes with clarity. And now you will begin to see why certain things never worked, why certain people couldn't stay, why your heart felt torn between staying still and moving forward. I was calling you out, not into confusion, but into greater. This shift is evidence of your growth. You outgrew spaces you were once desperate to remain in. You no longer crave what used to fill you. You no longer pursue what used to impress you. And now, you are being positioned in places that match your maturity, that mirror what I've been developing inside of you. My child, this is more than a breakthrough. It's an unveiling. I'm revealing the strength that was forged in silence. I'm highlighting the wisdom that was born from surrender. I'm making room for the version of you that you've only glimpsed in glimpses during your most honest moments with me. The shift is not just external. It's internal. You're thinking differently. You're seeing through lenses that were once fogged by fear. You're noticing patterns you used to ignore. You're stepping back from things that once distracted you. And it's all me, drawing you closer to the original blueprint I wrote when I first breathed life into you. I'm not interested in improving your life temporarily. I'm invested in establishing you permanently. That's why I've brought you to this threshold. This is more than a transition. This is transformation. This isn't a detour. This is design. I'm not offering options, I'm opening assignments. What I'm doing in this moment will affect more than just you. Generations will shift because of what I'm setting in motion. Legacy is being born in this atmosphere. Foundations are being laid beneath your feet while I whisper direction into your spirit. Don't drink to fit what's changing. Don't apologize for the magnitude of this call. Don't minimize the shift because it feels unfamiliar. I am in this. I have orchestrated it. And I will finish what I've started. Everything you've walked through, every quiet obedience, every secret surrender, it's all converging here. You're stepping into what have been waiting for you all along. And this shift, it will not reverse. It will not delay. It will not be stolen. Because I authored it. And I'm establishing it now. There's something stirring inside you right now. Not fear, not doubt, not anxiety, but a divine stirring that you can't quite explain. It's deeper than emotion. It doesn't come and go like inspiration. It's steady, quiet, undeniable. It's the witness of my spirit bearing truth inside your spirit. What I've been preparing for you externally is beginning to echo internally, and before you see it unfold with your natural eyes, I'm allowing you to sense it in your soul. This is not imagination. This is not wishful thinking. This is the signature of my presence moving ahead of manifestation. I'm letting your spirit pick up what your environment hasn't yet revealed. That inner knowing you keep feeling, that sense that something is shifting, that peace that makes no logical sense, that holy expectation you can't shake, is not random. It's the confirmation I promised. I speak to my people in advance so they'll recognize me when the moment arrives. I whisper to the heart long before the miracle appears in the open. That's how I work. I prepare you in your spirit before I promote you in the natural. I show you by faith before I show you by sight. So don't ignore what you feel stirring. It's not just a fleeting moment of motivation. It's me placing spiritual evidence before the physical proof. The stillness you feel is the hush that comes before revelation. The alignment in your thoughts is the preparation before movement. You're walking lighter not because the battle ended, but because you've already received victory in your spirit. And now, I am moving that inner witness toward external confirmation. You're about to see what you've been sensing. You're about to touch what your spirit already said yes to. You've been faithful through uncertainty, and now clarity is coming to match what you've known all along. You didn't get that inner peace by accident. I gave it to anchor you. I placed it inside you so that when the door opens, you won't hesitate. You'll know it's me, because I've already rehearsed it with you in secret. You've walked through it in prayer. You've seen it in dreams. You felt it during worship. You've carried it through days when nothing made sense. And now, the reality will meet the revelation. I want you to lean into that knowing. Trust the sense of timing I've written on your heart. When you feel peace with no explanation, follow it. When you sense release without warning, step forward. When you no longer carry the weight of worry, even when circumstances haven't caught up, that's me, confirming in your spirit what I've already shifted in the heavenlies. And soon, what you feel will be followed by what you see. The call you weren't expecting. The opportunity you never planned. The restoration you thought was out of reach. All of it is on its way to match the peace I already planted within you. I've never given you discernment just to tease you. I gave it to lead you. I'm showing you how to trust the unseen before it becomes the undeniable. The restlessness you once carried is being exchanged for a holy certainty. Not pride, not assumption, but sacred confidence. And when others question how you knew it was your time, how you moved before the evidence appeared, how you acted before anything around you changed, you'll simply say, I felt it in my spirit. Because my children know my voice. My sheep follow me not because they see where I'm going, but because they recognize the sound of me calling from within. You're not making this up. You're not overthinking. You're not imagining breakthrough. You're aligned with it. This is the moment your spirit leaps, and soon your life will follow. Hold fast to the stillness. Guard that quiet confidence. Don't let noise distract you from what your soul already knows. I've been speaking, and now, everything you felt is about to be confirmed in full view. What once felt slow, stagnant, and stuck is about to move at a pace you never imagined possible. You're not going to have to force it. You will need to beg, push, or persuade anything to happen. I am breathing momentum into places that were frozen by fear, disappointment, or warfare. Where it felt like nothing was shifting, I was aligning things behind the scenes, not to delay you but to preserve what was meant to be birthed in fullness, not fragments. And now that the moment has arrived, I'm removing the bottlenecks and restrictions that tried to keep you contained. This is not a normal pace. This is not natural progress. This is supernatural speed assigned by heaven itself. What should have taken years will unfold in weeks. What was pushed to the back will be brought to the front. What you thought you missed out on is circling back to you with power multiplied. I am redeeming time, not just by restoring what was lost, but by accelerating what comes next. This divine speed won't feel chaotic. It will feel orchestrated. It won't create confusion. It will produce clarity. You'll find yourself walking into opportunities without strain, entering rooms you didn't even know existed, receiving responses faster than expected, and seeing doors open one after another as if they were waiting for you all along. That's because they were. I held them until now. I concealed them until the weight of your character could carry the weight of your calling. And now, I'm releasing them in rapid sequence, not to overwhelm you but to establish you. You have not been overlooked. You've been positioned for divine timing. And now, the wind of my spirit is behind you, pushing you forward, ushering you into a season where the pace of progress matches the urgency of your preparation. But do not mistake this movement for chance. It is strategic. It is intentional. It is designed to make up for every moment the enemy tried to rob from you. He wanted you to believe too much time had passed, that it was too late, that the opportunity had expired. But I do not operate under the limitations of human clocks or calendars. I am the author of time, and I bend it to fulfill my word. I've seen your patience. I've honored your perseverance. And now, I reward it not with slow restoration, but with sudden fulfillment. Be ready. What once came with resistance will now come with ease. People who once ignored your voice will now seek your wisdom. Systems that once denied your entry will now offer you access. Delays that once discouraged your faith will now be replaced by divine advancement. I'm speeding up the process, not by skipping steps, but by aligning each one in perfect sequence. You won't be rushed, you'll be released. And you will know it's me because the speed of it will outpace your efforts. You won't be able to take the credit. You'll know, without a doubt, this is my hand, this is my power, this is my plan. I'm shortening timeline. I'm accelerating answers. I'm collapsing wait seasons into fulfillment windows. I'm fulfilling promises with such precision that your only response will be worship. And when others ask how it happened so quickly, you'll testify that it wasn't about luck or connections, it was about obedience, about waiting well, about trusting me when it looked like nothing was moving. My child, get ready. What I'm doing now won't take years. It will take faith. Stay close. Stay anchored. Stay expectant. Because I'm not just catching you up, I'm launching you forward. This is the hour of divine acceleration, and you've just stepped into the speed of heaven. There has been a divine delivery in motion, long prepared and perfectly timed, and now its release can no longer be held back. This is not something generic, not a recycled promise or a shared portion. It's specifically marked for you. Your name is written on it in the ink of eternity. No one can intercept it. No delay can reroute it. No opposition can claim it. I reserve this blessing in a realm untouched by manipulation, free from competition, sealed by my sovereignty. It is not a result of someone else's forfeiture, nor is it a leftover from another's breakthrough. It is the manifestation of a promise that was always yours. I have watched every moment you felt bypassed, every time someone else received what looked like your miracle, and how you quietly celebrated them while secretly wondering if I had skipped over your need. But I was never behind schedule. I was waiting for the appointed moment when your hands, heart, and house would be ready to hold what I'm about to release. My child, this blessing is more than provision. It's a revelation, a signpost of how deeply I know you. It will arrive not only in the way you prayed, but in ways you never thought to ask. This gift will carry details so precise, so undeniably personal, that you'll be overwhelmed by how intimately I've paid attention to your life. I've tracked your sacrifices. I've counted the silent tears. I've stored the seeds you've sown without applause. And now, the harvest that's been maturing in my storehouse is being released, with no detour. It won't be handed to someone else. It won't miss your location. It won't require performance to secure. It will arrive by my hand, carried through the corridors of heaven straight to where you are. And when it comes, you'll feel the atmosphere shift. You will sense the weight of favor rest upon your shoulders in a way you've never carried it before. Not heavy but holy. Not pressured, but purposed. This is not about flashy increase. This is about divine accuracy. What I'm giving you is not for show. It's for stewardship. It fits your assignment. It strengthens your call. It aligns with what I've built in secret. Others may wonder why it didn't come sooner, or why it's coming to you now, but they won't see the nights you kept believing when everything screamed, "Give up." They won't see the prayers you whispered when your strength was nearly gone. They won't see the choices you made when no one was watching. But I saw it all, and I determined, in that secret place, that when I bless you, I will do it in such a way that no one will be able to question if it was me. The timing, the precision, the doors that swing open without explanation, all of it will bear my signature. I don't send blessings by accident. I don't release favor randomly. And I never misplace what I've reserved. You are not forgotten. You are not one of me. You are my beloved. And what I have for you cannot be assigned to anyone else. You won't have to compete to keep it. You won't have to defend why it's yours. You'll simply walk in it, clothed in grace, anchored in peace, guided by my spirit. This is not just a breakthrough. It's a fulfillment of something sacred between you and me. And when you receive it, don't hesitate. Don't shrink. Don't wonder if it's too good to be true. It's not. It's me. This is what you've been carrying in your spirit all along, and now it's coming into view. Not by might, not by effort, but because I willed it, and nothing can override what I've decreed for you. This blessing is en route, and it knows exactly where to land. In the long nights when silence was your only companion, in the days when nothing around you confirmed that I was near, I was closer than you imagined, not distant, but deeply at work within you. You looked at the stillness and called it abandonment, but I called it refinement. You mistook my quietness for disinterest, but I was carefully molding something in you that required no noise, no rush, no witnesses. You were not overlooked, ignored, or cast aside. You were hidden in my hands, being shaped into someone who could carry the weight of what you now stand on the edge of receiving. Every moment that felt like delay was actually divine strategy. You were never off my radar. I never skip your name. I didn't choose others and forget you. I chose you for a process that would forge depth over speed, endurance over popularity, and character over comfort. I wasn't preparing the blessing alone. I was preparing you to hold it without it holding you. What you thought was stillness was pressure. My intentional pressure applied with the precision of a master potter shaping clay for legacy. I allowed the stretch. I permitted the pruning. Not to hurt you, but to remove the excess that couldn't go with you where I was leading. You cried out for answers, and I answered by working on you from the inside out. While others appeared to move ahead, I was drawing you deeper. Not because you were behind, but because your foundation needed to be unshakable. I don't build on unstable ground, and I was never going to launch you into visibility until your roots were planted in truth, humility, and unshakable trust. I let the spotlight pass over you so you wouldn't become dependent on it. I shielded you from premature elevation so that pride wouldn't rob the fruit I was cultivating. And while you wondered if your season would ever come, I was whispering to your spirit, "Be still. I'm not done." Now the time of refinement is reaching its completion. You are emerging, not as the same person who entered the furnace of fire, but as gold-tested, as oil-pressed, as a vessel that has been emptied and filled again with my presence alone. I didn't forget you. I remembered you so much that I refused to allow you to walk forward unprepared. What's coming into your life now is a reflection of the work I've done in the dark. You no longer have to explain where you've been. Your authority will speak for itself. You no longer need to justify the wait. Your fruit will validate the journey. What was developed in the quiet now becomes the foundation of what I'm building around you. My child, refinement is not punishment. It's proof of your value. I don't take time with what I intend to discard. I only refine what I plan to use greatly. That's why I kept you in my grip when everything felt like it was slipping. That's why I stripped away distractions, even when it hurt. That's why I allowed you to walk through days that seemed silent, so that when I finally opened the door, you'd know the sound of my voice and nothing else. I haven't been delaying your future. I've been forming it through your surrender. And now, as you step into what's ahead, you'll carry a different kind of strength, one not based on outward signs, but on the quiet certainty that you are deeply known, fully loved, and purposefully called. I didn't forget you. I was perfecting you. And now, the refinement becomes the revelation. You're not behind. You're exactly on time. You've battled through the ache of unanswered questions, walked faithfully through situations that didn't make sense, and waited while your spirit wrestled with the tension of delay. You asked me why things didn't work when you did everything right. You wondered how long you'd have to keep showing up without seeing movement. You tried your best to remain joyful, even when disappointment visited your doorstep again and again. But I want you to hear me clearly now. I did not let your frustration go unnoticed. I collected every sigh. I documented every inner groan. I heard the cry behind the silence and the hope hidden beneath your weary persistence. What you called frustration, I called evidence, proof that you kept moving even when nothing around you gave you a reason to. That kind of endurance does not go unrewarded. I have taken the very places where disappointment lingered, and I am converting them into supernatural entry points. You won't need to push your way into this next season. I'm unlocking doors you never knew existed, doors you didn't know to ask for, rooms you weren't planning to enter, opportunities you didn't even think to imagine. This is how I work. I take the exact areas where you felt overlooked and I pour out favor in ways so personal, so targeted, so unexpected, that you'll have no doubt it was orchestrated by my hand alone. Your frustration was not wasted. It was fertilizer for what's growing beneath the surface. Every day you resisted bitterness became a seed for honor. Every time you chose trust instead of cynicism, you laid the groundwork for favor to rest upon you. And now that favor is showing up, not because you chased it, but because you hosted the right heart posture when it mattered most. What's coming doesn't match what you walked through. It exceeds it. I'm not just opening doors. I'm swinging them wide before you even reach the threshold. You'll begin to see invitations arrive with your name on them, not because you made the right connections, but because you stayed connected to me. You won't have to rehearse a pitch, perform for acceptance, or force open a gate. I will place people in position to remember you without you reminding them. I will align moments where you are brought up in conversations without being in the room. I will stir hearts to reach out, to include you, to bless you, and they won't even know why they feel compelled to. That's my favor. That's what happens when frustration is surrendered instead of burying. That's what I do for the faithful. I cause the very places of struggle to become stages of promotion. And as these doors open, you will walk with a quiet boldness. You won't carry arrogance. You won't move in striving. You'll walk in the calm confidence of one who knows they've been chosen, not because of perfection, but because of obedience. This is not random breakthrough. It is divine response. And the doors that open now will not only bless you, they will bless everyone connected to you. Because I do not release favor for personal elevation alone. I do it to expand my kingdom through vessels who have been shaped in private. You are that vessel. The frustration you've endured has carved out a new capacity in you. And now I'm filling that space with ease, opportunity, access, and abundance, not as a reward, but as a release. Get ready to step into answers you didn't chase, solutions you didn't design, and paths you didn't even know were possible. I've been preparing them while you waited. I've been shaping them with your name in mind. And now, they are opening, not one, not two, but many. Favor is flooding in to replace every ounce of heaviness. The season of standing at closed doors is over. The doors are opening, and this time, you don't have to knock. They are opening because I'm sending you. You are stepping into a time when my voice will no longer be occasional background noise. It will become your compass. I am bringing such clarity to your spirit that hesitation will lose its hold. No longer will you wonder if you heard me right. And no longer will you second-guess yourself into delay. I'm tuning your inner ear to my frequency, and what I speak will cut through every other voice with authority and peace. My words are not suggestions. They are instructions wrapped in grace, guidance carrying weight, direction marked with divine purpose. You've prayed for clarity. Now I am releasing it in full measure. I'm not just whispering comfort into your soul. I'm embedding my will into the fiber of your thinking, your choices, your instincts. Even your smallest moves will begin to carry the echo of what I've said over you. You will wake up with a sense of direction. You'll feel my peace pointing you before your feet even move. You'll sit in conversations and suddenly know what to say. You'll face decisions that once caused you to feel frozen, and you'll respond with boldness rooted not in logic, but in revelation. This isn't about knowing all the details. It's about trusting that I do, and that I've already gone before you. When I speak, creation aligns. When I declare, mountains shift. And now, I am speaking to you, not in riddles, not in codes, but with unmistakable certainty. My child, this is the season of walking in rhythm with my word. Not chasing answers, but carrying the one who is the answer. I'm giving you discernment that will silence the noise of distraction. You won't need to wrestle with whether to go or stay, act or wait, speak or hold back, because my voice will guide you moment by moment. I've already started awakening that awareness within you. That stillness you felt. That pull in your chest. That peace that falls like rain when you think of a certain direction. That's me. I've been speaking, and now you're beginning to recognize the difference between my voice and your thoughts. You're starting to trust the direction that doesn't always make sense on paper but makes perfect sense in your spirit. And as you continue to move forward, the voice that used to be faint will become familiar, like a heartbeat guiding you into rooms you never thought you'd enter, through decisions you once feared to make, into assignments that once felt too big. I'm not asking you to understand everything. I'm asking you to listen, to lean in, to stop overanalyzing and simply follow. My voice will confirm the timing, the direction, the people, the partnerships, the boundaries. My voice will bring peace even in risk. My voice will expose what looks good but isn't from me. My voice will remind you of who you are when lies try to whisper otherwise. My words are not distant echoes from old pages. They are alive, specific, current, and personal. They will accompany you into every environment, every conversation, every challenge. You don't need to know what's next to move. You just need to know what I said. And I say this now. You are covered. You are chosen. You are prepared. You are ready. I am with you in this next step, and my voice is leading the way. Don't fear missteps when you are walking in relationship with the one who makes all things work together. Even your detours will become part of the destination. Trust the voice that brought you through the last season. Trust the one who never stopped speaking, even when everything went quiet. I have been present in every moment, and now, my voice is going before you. Let every word I've spoken become the foundation you walk on. Let every sentence become a path. Let every whisper carry weight. This is how you will know which way to go. My voice will be louder than your fear. Amen.